Hello, welcome to the Collegewise Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. We have a few housekeeping announcements before we get started this evening. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. And if your question is for one specific institution, make sure you name the school in your question so they know it's for them. Your cameras and microphones are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. So just sit back, relax, and concentrate on the great information you're going to get over the next 45 minutes or so. This is just one of many different sessions happening today and tomorrow. Be sure to sign up for additional ones at strivescan.com/collegewise. And this presentation is being recorded. It'll be available within about a week, again, at the same website, strivescan.com/collegewise. We are in session A2. It is the top center part of the screen where I am moving my cursor around over it. Those are the 6 schools presenting during the session, and that is the order of the presentations. So I've gotten all the housekeeping stuff out of the way, so I will step out of the way and turn it over to our first presentation from the representative from Case Western Reserve University.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming today. My name is Lindsay Pan, one of the admission counselor at the Case Western Reserve University. I'm very excited to share a little bit about our university. So we are a private medium-sized comprehensive research university located in Cleveland, Ohio. We have about 10,000 students on campus, a little bit more, 5,200 undergrad students. And student to faculty ratio is 11:1, and 60% of classes have 40 students or less. And we have a student coming from 48 states, and 14% are international students, and more than 20% student holding citizenship outside the US. So we are located in Cleveland. Cleveland is a place for healthcare, business, innovation, and food. So we focus on interdisciplinary learning. So we have a single door admission policy. At Case Western Reserve University, you do not apply to specific school, department, or program. You apply to university as a whole. So once you admit to the university, it really gives you the flexibility to study across the academic programs. So you're not restricted to single major or minor. You can take whatever the class is, major or minor, or for your interest. The only exception to this is music and music education, because those are additional based programs. So beyond the classroom, the access, you have to research at Case Western Reserve unparalleled. So Chris is a great example. He just graduated last year. When he was undergrad student, he discovered the galaxy while he was studying with our astronomy professor. And he also interviewed the famous person Neil deGrasse Tyson on his radio show last spring. And our undergrad student actually can start their research in their very first year. And we have an office called the SOS office that is specifically designed to help undergrad students to find research opportunities. So one of our external resources here is Sears ThinkBox. So it's the 7 stories of technology and expertise dedicated to making ideas real. For example, like a 3D printer, laser cutter, metalworking, it's free. It's open to everyone every year, every major. You can just walk in and get down to business. And our campus, located in a university circle. So if you see the picture here at the back is downtown Cleveland. So we are about like 5 miles west to downtown Cleveland. All of our students will receive the RTA pass, which is public transportation pass. So you can use that pass to navigate the city on your own by bus or by subway. So University Circle is the medical, culture, and educational epicenter. There's more than 50 institutions in 1 square mile. So everything you see here within short walking distance, maybe walking to the art museum with your art history class, doing firsthand anthropology research at the Museum of Natural History, or walking in our brand new 550 million house education campus that has a joint enterprise with the Cleveland Clinic. We have a strong commitment to the hands-on learning so that you will graduate not only with a degree, but also a resume. We know the approach works. We track the data. We have something called the first destination survey. As you can see, the majority of our graduates are either employed full-time in graduate or professional school or pursuing their personal goals within 6 months of graduation. So if there are 3 things I hope you can remember about Case Western Reserve University is our interdisciplinary learning, the access to research and resources, and the commitment to hands-on learning. So this is all the information I want to share with you. I'm going to stop sharing and pass down to next university.
Thank you very much. And I want to remind everyone that if you have questions for any of our representatives presenting this evening, to make sure that if it is for a specific school, name the school in your question, but use the Q&A button to ask questions of any of our presenters tonight. Up next, we will hear from the representative from Denison University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Latta, and I'm one of the Associate Directors of Admission at Denison University. Denison University is a small liberal arts college in Granville, Ohio. You can see a little bit about us here. So we have a population of about 2,300 students. I think that's really a sweet spot. It's a little bit larger than some liberal arts colleges, but certainly a small school. So the kind of place where you can walk around, you'll recognize people. Where we are, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Granville and our location on the next slide, but you can see here, we have students from all 50 states, 56 countries. 20% of our students are domestic students of color. About a fifth of our students come from Ohio as well. So this is really not a regional school. This is a school where you will meet people from all over. So a little bit about Granville. Granville is a small Midwestern town. It has less than 7,000 people in it. But I think it's a pretty quaint, wonderful little place, and our students really enjoy it. It's between a 5 and 10 minute walk from anywhere on campus into Granville. While we're located in a small town, we're also about 35 minutes from Columbus, Ohio. So Columbus is the capital of Ohio. It has over 2 million people. It's the 14th largest city in the United States. And it really, our proximity to Columbus allows our students to have not just extracurricular opportunities, but also pre-professional opportunities. So whether it's internships in Columbus or just heading in and seeing a sports game or a musical, there's a lot to do. And a lot of our students really love that. As you may be aware, there are a number of liberal arts colleges that are quite a bit further from cities. And so that's one of the reasons that many students enjoy Denison. In terms of academics at Denison, one of the things that is a little bit different about who we are is we have some innovative academic programs here at Denison. So some of our most popular majors include economics, biology, psychology, English, very similar to many other liberal arts colleges. However, we also have some different kinds of programs like global commerce, which is more of an international business degree, data analytics, financial economics, health, exercise, and sports studies. We also added global health this year. So can you find those at other liberal arts colleges? Absolutely, but it's not as easy at some, and it's something we're really proud of. The academic experience is going to be more collaborative than competitive, in the kind of classroom where you are definitely going to get to know your professors and your classmates. We also offer quite a bit of experiential hands-on learning. It really depends on the major, but from research on our bioreserve, which is on our campus, to again, internships, both domestic and abroad. There are lots of different opportunities to get involved at Denison. In terms of out of the classroom, we are a Division III athletic program, We tend to have quite a bit of athletic success. And so if you want a school that has strong academics and strong athletic spirit, this might be a great school for you. If you're interested in what Denison students are doing after, just like Case, we pull the data as well. And this is a little bit about what our alums are doing after they graduate from Denison. Lots of good data there, but I think my favorite stat here is that 96% of alumni are working in their desired field or position, or are well on their way to doing so just 5 years after Denison. I think overall Denison is really a relational college. It's the kind of place where you walk around, you'll know people, the president knows students. He is very much a part of who we are as an institution. And if you really want a place that's small town with access to a big city, great academic relationships with your professors and fantastic relationships with your peers as well, Denison's a great place for you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. In terms of admission, this is a little bit of important information about deadlines. What I want to point out here is that we meet 100% of demonstrated need if you fill out the FAFSA and the CSS profile. We also offer merit scholarships. There's no additional application for merit scholarships at Denison, and we are test optional and have been for over 10 years. So that is not something that has changed as a result of the situation we are currently in. I'm gonna leave it there, but have a great rest of your night. And again, I'll be here if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. And again, you can ask questions of any of our presenters using the Q&A button. And if your question is for a specific school, name the school in your question so they know it is for them. Up next, we will hear from the representative from Kenyon College.
Great. Thank you very much. And my name is Chris Renewal, and I'm going to share my screen at this point. There we are. Excellent. I'm one of the directors in the office at Kenyon. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. Thanks so much. As you can see on this slide, Kenyon was founded in 1824. We're a liberal arts and sciences college of 1,700 students located in Gambier, which is an hour north of Columbus. We're an undergraduate-only college where 100% of students live on campus. And our students come from 40 different countries in all 50 states. We actually tend to have nearly equivalent percentages of students from California, New York, and Ohio. Gambier is a quaint tree-lined village of 2,500 residents. Our campus is flanked by a 500-acre nature preserve on one side and the Kenyon Farm on the other, and it's anchored by Middle Path, the main thoroughfare of our walking campus to which all other paths connect. You can see Middle Path running horizontally through the center of this image. Kenyon people are proud that the college is a joyful, kind, collaborative, and inclusive place, and physical spaces around campus reinforce this reality. On the left side of this slide, you can see additional images of Middle Path. We meet on Middle Path throughout each day, and these interactions really bring us closer together as a community. In the upper right-hand corner, you see an image of Pierce, the Hogwarts-esque dining hall at Kenyon. Pierce is open all day like a kitchen in one's home. And because we don't have a swipe or a point system, Pierce is a social space as well as a space for meals. In the bottom right-hand part of this slide, you'll see an image from Gambier's Main Street. We connect in the shops and restaurants in the heart of the village and in the US Post Office, which our students share with the town's residents. And this all highlights an important theme at Kenyon, that we take the time to know each other, and it's evident in the close relationships we forge. With this next slide, I'll talk about academic life at Kenyon. There are 15 students in the average class at the college, and we have a 10-to-1 student-to-professor ratio. Our classrooms are highly interactive settings, regardless of academic department. Our academic program is rigorous, and our students genuinely love learning for its own sake. And although our students are intellectually ambitious, they are collaborative, not at all competitive with each other. So students really tend to make the deliberate choice to attend Kenyon for this distinctive amalgam of rigor, joy in the learning process, and mutual support among students and with faculty. Through this slide, you'll see that Kenyon has more than 50 academic programs from which students may choose. Applicants to Kenyon are not admitted to specific majors. All 50+ programs are an option for all students, and students don't have to declare their major until the beginning of their junior year. We don't have a core curriculum. We do have a series of distribution requirements to ensure breadth of study, and all students complete a senior exercise, a capstone experience through which they produce a thesis, a research project, or similar work. You may know about the college's legacy of producing notable authors and the reputation of the Kenyon Review Professional Literary Journal. All students at Kenyon can expect to write frequently in their classes. And through a curriculum that's writing intensive across all disciplines, we give our students the practice and feedback they need to learn how to express themselves with high degrees of clarity and precision and for different audiences. While Kenyon's academic program is rigorous, it's also designed so that students can lead fulfilling lives outside the classroom. There are approximately 245 events on campus in a given year at Kenyon, running the gamut from exhibits in our gallery to performances to lectures to film showings. We have approximately 150 clubs and organizations available, so there's something for everyone from political clubs to a cappella groups to service to Division III athletics. At Kenyon, we tend to attract students who want to shape the extracurricular life of the campus community. Our students love that Kenyon's the kind of place where you aren't pigeonholed. You're supported for crafting your own identity based on your academics and your activities. And although Kenyon students value expressing their individual passions, they're highly people-oriented, highly relationship-oriented. So the students you find at Kenyon are those who get just as excited about going to a concert, as a poetry reading, or a game, really anything that gives them a chance to hang out with and support their classmates. In this slide, you'll see references to some of our famous graduates. Although our most well-known alumni tend to be authors, performing and visual artists, and political figures, Kenyon grads regularly go on to pursue careers in fields that include education, law, medicine, and finance. There's no single career path to which Kenyon students are confined after they graduate. And finally, about applying to Kenyon, we're a Common App and Coalition App school. We have 3 tracks for students to apply: binding, early decision 1, and early decision 2, as well as regular decision. And you can see our deadlines on the slide. Please note, we have a temporary test optional policy for this year's high school seniors. On the subject of financial aid, Kenyon meets 100% of demonstrated need for every admitted student. All admitted students who are admitted to Kenyon are automatically considered for merit scholarships. The only scholarships that require an extra step are our talent scholarships in creative writing, music, and studio art, as well as our KEEP and STEM scholarships for underrepresented and under-resourced students. And with that, I want to thank you for your time. Please explore some of our virtual offerings through the link I've highlighted here. I look forward to answering your questions in chat and questions from you in the future via email. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll remind everyone not only about the Q&A to make sure you ask questions of any of our presenters if you have them, but also the order of our presentations. Here we are in session A2, and we have heard from 3 of our 6 institutions represented this evening. Up next, we will hear from Miami University. Hannah, I'm not hearing you. I don't think we're hearing you. Your mic is not muted, but we're not getting any audio coming through. Yeah, still nothing there. Why don't we come back to you? So you can see if we can get your audio settings taken care of. But we'll skip Miami and we'll come back to you when we do that, if you need to reconnect or something like that. So thank you for everyone's flexibility. And what we will do, we'll move forward now with Ohio Wesleyan University. I could have come on to...
Hi, everyone. My name is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Before we move forward, I know Zoom issues are the tune of 2020, so definitely feel that, Hannah. But my name is Courtney Dunn. I am an assistant director of admission here at Ohio Wesleyan University. I'm also a 2017 graduate of Ohio Wesleyan, but it is a small liberal arts school located just outside of Columbus, Ohio. And if you were to ask me how to describe a student at Ohio Wesleyan, I would tell you that our students are extremely engaged. So whether that's in their major or in their extracurricular activities, our students are always participating in a lot of different things. But mainly one of those things that a lot of our students are participating in is what we call the OWU connection. And this is how we categorize all of our out of the classroom learning or experiential learning. And we categorize all of those experiences in 3 different ways: think big, go global, and get real. So what do I mean when I say all of those things? So when we're thinking big, we're really talking about research opportunities at Ohio Wesleyan. Whether that's through our summer science research program, or whether that's through our theory to practice grant programs, where students across all disciplines at the university can write grants to the university requesting funding for the research that they're doing. Then the second one is going global. So for some of our students, that's going to some of our domestic programs in Washington, D.C. and New York City. And for other students, that's going across an ocean and going to Australia or the UK or to Germany to continue to do research or study abroad or participate in what we call travel learning, which I'll talk about a little bit in a minute. But then the third category is get real. So how do we talk about internships and externships and opportunities for students to gain that real world experience before they graduate? So Eva's experience here is really indicative of most of our students at Ohio Wesleyan, taking advantage of all three categories at some point during their time at Ohio Wesleyan. So doing travel learning, where you study on campus for the full semester and then travel for 2 to 3 weeks in May, executing the research that you've been studying all semester. Doing a theory to practice grant, where you see Eva had the chance to do 2 different OWU connection grant opportunities, one to Panama to study endangered frogs and one to Birmingham, Alabama to study cast iron practices. So a lot of different ways to put that funding to use to the things that you really want to do. But also internships, not just doing one internship, but multiple internships during your time at Ohio Wesleyan, and utilizing our Career Center to help you connect those different opportunities starting your freshman year. So how can we capitalize on the skills that you've gained in high school to help you get those intro level internships starting your freshman year? So like I said, we are located just outside of Columbus, Ohio. We're just 25 minutes north in a small town called Delaware, Ohio. And it definitely has that small town charm where we have a farmer's market every Saturday. We have 5 different coffee shops with very different personalities for students to go to study at any point in time. So it's a very quaint small town. We also have a horse parade that goes right through the center of campus in the fall. So it's a very nice place to have everything on a smaller scale that you could find in the big city, but also being close enough to Columbus to take advantage of large sporting events and Taylor Swift concerts when she comes to Columbus, Ohio. So what do you study at Ohio Wesleyan? So our 5 most popular majors are zoology, business, politics and government, health and human kinetics, and psychology. But that being said, we have over 70 different majors for students to choose from. So we really do want you to take time to explore, and you don't have to declare until the end of your sophomore year. We do have lots of renovation projects happening on campus right now. So our first year residence hall is being renovated. You'll have a fitness facility, 24-hour dining, and then our seniors are getting a brand new apartment complex as well. And our gym for our basketball and volleyball team are also being renovated right now, which will all be done in the fall of 2021. So by the time you all arrive, we will have all of these new buildings ready for you to take advantage of. So you've learned a little bit about Ohio Wesleyan. You really want to attend Ohio Wesleyan. How do you do that? So the cost and aid, I know the ticket price looks a little high, but 99% of our students have financial aid and grants that are helping support them through Ohio Wesleyan. So our average student will pay about $16,000. We also always include room and board in that price because it is mandatory for all of our students to live on campus all 4 years. So how do we bring that down? We do that through our Branch Rickey Opportunity Promise, and that is a $30,000 per year scholarship for any student who has at least a 3.6 GPA weighted or higher. So we really do believe that you've put in the work. We're going to base everything off your GPA. We are test optional for all of our programs, merit-based scholarships, honors program, all of our fellowship programs are all test optional as well. And it's also not new to us. We've been doing test optional for about 10 years now. So we're very excited for students to have the ability for all of these programs to now be test optional. Other scholarship opportunities for students who are artistically inclined, theatrically inclined, musically. We do have further scholarships there, community service as well. And then we also have invite-only scholarship competitions to compete for either full tuition or an additional $10,000 in scholarship. So we really do want to have additional aid. And then a couple of statistics about Ohio Wesleyan that you can view here on the screen that just give you this overview of who we are, with small class sizes, a small university with students from over 44 different states, and a D3 varsity athletic experience for students. So thank you so much for listening to more about Ohio Wesleyan, and I would love to hear from you soon.
Thank you very much. And again, I will remind everyone, If you have questions for any of our presenters, use the Q&A button to ask them. And if the question is for a specific school, make sure you name the school in your question so they know it is for them. We'll move forward here and we'll hear our next presentation from the representative from Xavier University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mac Yates. Just get this going here for you. And I'll be presenting today on Xavier University. So first and foremost, I'm one of the admissions counselors here, Mac Yates. I am also a recent college grad from Xavier University. I graduated in 2019, so definitely fresh off the stage. But I'm glad to be here. I was actually a student tour guide as well, so I've been working in my office for a couple of years now. Just a little bit more on the professional side, which is a lot of fun. So, but this is Xavier University. So we're located in downtown, or actually just 5 minutes from downtown Cincinnati. Being a kid from California, I had no idea what to expect from the Midwest or Cincinnati. And I can honestly say Cincinnati is such an underrated city. I definitely like to start with that just because I think Cincinnati is definitely a city that's not talked about a whole lot. And there's a lot to tap into within the city, whether it's doing stuff for fun, like going downtown for Oktoberfest, or getting more into like the professional side of things, like an internship or working at one of the many hospitals that we have here in Cincinnati. There's a lot to do, which is a lot of fun. So to start with the nitty gritty, we have 90 undergrad degree programs. Some of our top programs are definitely from our business school and our pre-med programs. So from the business school, it's going to be marketing and finance are going to be the top 2 majors in there. And from the pre-med side of things, it's definitely going to be our nursing program, which we actually do have a college for, which is nice. And then also, if anybody was looking for like a precursor for med school, biomedical sciences or biology would be the top 2 programs for that as well. Great thing is you actually don't have to declare your major unless you are in the nursing program until the end of your sophomore year. So you do have a little bit of time to like pick and choose classes while also taking the curriculum. So you're not falling behind with credits or anything like that, but you get to pick and choose a couple different classes to see what you might be interested in, whether that's trying some of the business classes, trying some of the arts classes, or some of the pre-med classes as well to see where you would ultimately like to end up and start studying. And then, focus more on that your junior and senior year. We do encourage our students to study abroad and go outside the borders of Xavier, whether that's going across the pond to study in Maastricht, Netherlands for our business program, or doing some pre-med work down south in like South America or something, which is really nice. And obviously that comes to fruition with our 98% success rate. So within 6 months of graduation, 98% of our Xavier grads are either employed full-time in a job, enrolled in grad school, or volunteering for doing a year of volunteer service, whether that's JVC or anything like that. So it just goes to show that we are putting the time and effort into our students here at Xavier, making sure that they're prepared for the real world, but when they actually sit down for that first interview, they can nail that home as well. And that's also to show that our success team, right in the bottom hand corner of this slide, our academic advisors who are helping our students all throughout their time. They're usually a 10-year professor within your field of study too. So it's someone who's acclimated to your field of study. Our success coach is definitely going to be keeping tabs on you, making sure that you're really, reaping all the benefits out of the Xavier education, whether that's getting involved in clubs or, taking that next step in that interview that you have. Our financial aid counselors are going to be with you the whole way, making sure that you're, taking all that you can and making sure that you're working on your personal finances, but also exploring other options for financial aid if it comes to that, which definitely is an important thing. And then finally, our career coach. Career coaches are there to help you. So when you do sit down for that first interview or take that phone call or do a Zoom interview, like in the world that we're in now, you're prepared to, nail that home and really show what Xavier's provide for you, which is really nice. So we are a Jesuit private institution. We sit around just under, or actually just above 5,000 undergrad students, 5,047 to be exact. So we do get that small school feel, and being a Jesuit institution definitely shows that we are a tight-knit, close community here on campus. That is definitely something that I experienced as a student, and something that we definitely encourage our students to embrace when they do step on campus, whether that's getting involved with like the 170 different clubs that we have on campus, going to the basketball games that we have here on campus, which if you're not a basketball fan before, you definitely will become one here on Xavier's campus. This place is definitely an electrifying atmosphere when our boys go onto the court to start playing, and supporting our other sports on campus as well is something that we really get into, and really shows that we can also have that big school feel. So while we are on the smaller end of a medium-sized school, you definitely get that big school feel when you support our 18 Division I NCAA sports, which is really important. So you are, if you are from outside of the city of Cincinnati, you are required to live 2 years, your first 2 years on campus. But after that, it's kind of the Xavier tradition to move off campus, whether that's in an off-campus house or off-campus apartment. You are more than welcome to stay on campus as well. But that's one of the most fun things that students get to do when they do get to move off campus and hang out with their friends and everything like that. We do, like I said, we are 5 minutes from downtown, so it's pretty accessible to get to downtown or any of the surrounding pockets around Cincinnati and explore those, whether it's grabbing a bite to eat, checking out the boutiques in Hyde Park, or going downtown to catch a Reds or Bengals game. Obviously, we wish they were a little bit better, but we're working on that as a city. So, and also getting involved with the Jesuit tradition on campus of, putting yourself out there for service. Community service is by no means required here on campus, but it's definitely something that students like to get involved with, whether that's, helping out the homeless, or, also, working with students for tutoring in some of our local areas. There's a lot of different ways that you can get involved. Finally, to end things, applying to Xavier is pretty simple. I highly recommend going through the Common App, just a little bit more streamlined of a purpose. And we'll just need, your transcript, official high school transcript from your high school, as well as test scores. We are test optional. We just became test optional last year, conveniently, obviously. But if you feel like your test scores represent you well as a student, definitely submit them. If not, go test optional. All of our programs and honors programs are now test optional. And 100% of our students also receive merit-based aid. So I highly recommend filling out the FAFSA, but we do give out a merit-based scholarship to our incoming students that follows them all throughout their 4 years there. So if you have any more questions, my name is Mac Yates. I'm admissions counselor here at Xavier University, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And again, I'll remind everyone to use the Q&A button to ask questions of any of our presenters. And if it's for a specific school, to name that school in your question so we know it is directed at them. Now we'll circle back now and see if we can get our presentation from Miami University.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Definitely hear you and see you.
Great, okay. I am using multiple modes of technology tonight, so I'm on my phone. So we will go ahead, make up for some lost time, but thank you all for joining us this evening and for bearing with me during some technical difficulties. But my name is Hannah Stone. I'm here tonight on behalf of Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. So a little bit about us. Oxford is your quintessential college town, located about an hour outside of the city of Cincinnati. So if you are looking for that college town experience, Miami can definitely check a lot of boxes. So we are considered to be a larger mid-size institution with a little over 17,000 undergraduate students attending. You do share the campus with a little over 2,200 graduate students, but the big takeaway here is campus is really geared towards the undergraduate experience. So this means you are not competing with any of our graduate students with regard to research opportunities, internship opportunities, and general connections with your professors. We have over 120 different majors spread across 5 different colleges at Miami, so really something for everyone. And we do encourage a lot of interdisciplinary and collaborative work as we are operating on kind of a liberal arts base. Because of that academic flexibility, over half of our students are able to add on either an additional major or have a few different minors by the time they graduate and still be able to graduate on time within a 4-year time frame. We are known across the country as a top 5 institution for undergraduate teaching. We have all professors teaching your classes on campus. So again, you're not competing with those graduate students, but you are also really able to form those connections with our professors. And for a university being of our size, to have an average of 30 students in a class is absolutely amazing. So as you go through your various areas of major study, your classes are going to get smaller and operate on a more Socratic seminar type of a base. We are known as a public Ivy institution. So this was a mock year developed in the 1980s that designated Miami, along with several other notable public institutions, as having an Ivy-esque education for a public school price. So if you are looking up Miami, you will notice that we do appear on a number of top value institutions as well. Some more quick facts about us, just in terms of the type of student that we are generally accepting into Miami each year. So big things to note, we are completely test optional for both admission and merit consideration for fall of 2021. So it is completely up to you if you would like us to consider your test scores as a part of your application or not. Just know that you will still be considered for merit scholarships with or without those test scores, so completely up to you. We also utilize the common application, so very straightforward way of applying, and just know that we are waiving application fees if you do decide to attend one of our virtual open house programs coming up here the second weekend of November. To give you an idea of our merit scholarship consideration, again, this is completely automatic with your application to Miami. As we are completely test optional this year based on GPA primarily, this is kind of the range of scholarship that you can expect given your high school GPA. So we do a pretty deep dive into your academic transcript, looking at each class that you've taken throughout your high school career, the grades earned in those classes, as well as the level of those classes. So honors, AP, IB, dual enrollment credit, we do take all of that into consideration. And our merit scholarship consideration also feeds into our tuition promise. So this means that we are actually fixing the rate of tuition for our incoming students each year. So each class essentially pays their own rate of tuition for all 4 years that they are students at Miami. So this takes away a lot of that guesswork in terms of financial planning for college. College for us is a 4-year investment, both in time as well as money. So we really do our best to give our families the information that they need up front in order to determine what is going to be the best financial fit as well as academic fit for you for college for the next 4 years. And outcomes. Miami is a very competitive program. So no matter that next step after graduation, you are going to be very well prepared for that next step, whether that is continuing your education on in a master's or PhD level program or going into your first career. Our Center for Career Exploration and Success is constantly working with national as well as international based companies throughout the world to bring those representatives to campus to talk to our students. So being located in a small Ohio town, to have those companies that specifically want to come to talk to our students is absolutely huge. And this is my contact information. So if you do have any questions, I know this was a lot to get through in a quick amount of time tonight. So happy to answer and send along any additional information for questions that you might have.
Hannah, thank you very much, and well done being versatile with the technology there. And I want to invite all of our representatives to come back on camera and turn on their microphones, because we'll do a quick, as we make sure that the Q&A gets caught up and there's enough time to answer any questions that come in through the Q&A button. We'll just do a quick round robin very quickly, a little bit redundant there, but and get a little more information about each of your schools. And we'll do it in the order that you presented. And we'll start with Case Western Reserve University. The question is simply, what is your favorite campus or school tradition that you'd like to share with the attendees, both here live in our session and who are going to access this through the recording later?
All right, so my favorite tradition is our oldest program campus tradition called Hudson Relay. So each class gonna pick the best runner to run 26-mile relay around campus. As per tradition, you know, if the same class win all 4 years in a row, so they're gonna have like steak, champagne, dinner with our president. So that's my favorite.
Denison University.
Yeah, I think that many students' favorite is D-Day, which is Denison Day, which is when alums sorry, excuse me. Sorry, that one is the one about with concerts, premier music artists. It also happens in the spring, which is when typically it starts to get a little bit nicer. So I would say D-Day is probably one of the top.
And Kenyon College.
Yes, so my favorite tradition is first year sing, and this is when our first years perform a series of Kenyon songs on the steps of Ross Hall, part of our music complex, for the entire campus community. And it's the same series of songs that they perform 4 years later when they graduate. So there's a nice bookend component to the sing tradition.
Sounds fun. Miami University.
Yeah, so my favorite campus tradition is one that I personally have experience with. So I did not attend Miami, but right before I interviewed, my tour guide took me to a very popular spot on campus. One of our gorgeous sundial sculptures in one of our main academic quads actually has some turtles that hold it up at the base. It's a brass sculpture. And if you get closer, you'll notice that the heads of the turtles are all significantly more shiny than the rest of the sculpture. So it's a campus tradition, but if you have a major test, a presentation, or an interview, to just give the turtle heads a little bit of extra touch for good luck. So that obviously paid off on my end, but it's a very popular spot on campus for midterms and finals. And I am assured that everything is getting sanitized a lot more since it's a lot of touching given COVID precautions. So
Makes sense. Ohio Wesleyan.
I would say my favorite campus tradition as a student and as an alum is Acapalooza. And that is an a cappella competition that happens every fall for our students. So we have 3 a cappella groups of our own on campus. And then we invite a cappella groups from the surrounding schools. I mean, clearly we have lots of schools all in Ohio to choose from and to invite to our a cappella competition. And we also invite a professional a cappella group to come and perform as well and have a very pitch perfect-esque night of a cappella singing and a lot of great camaraderie on campus for that event as well.
Fantastic. Xavier University.
Yeah, as a student and as an alum, I think the Crosstown Shootout, which is our basketball game versus University of Cincinnati, which is our rival, is definitely, I think, equivalent to like a bowl game in Cincinnati. It's definitely something that pulls a lot of the Cincinnati locals together, but a lot of alumni come into town from both schools. It's either played at our house or their arena as well. But it is probably one of the biggest games that will happen in Cincinnati itself, but also just for Xavier and University of Cincinnati, and a lot of tension, a lot of heightened emotions for that game too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to ask one more quick question of each of you because it came in the Q&A, and I think this is a good one just to hit on. You may have hit on it in your presentation, but it's probably a one that's kind of a hot pressing thing right now, and that's the status of testing and how each of your schools is evaluating testing, whether it's test optional, test blind, and whatever your status is. So we'll just go in the same order. So Case Western Reserve, again, with how are you treating tests this year or going forward?
So yeah, so we are text optional for the class 2021, class 2022, and the class 2023. So student apply test optional will be considered same consideration for the merit-based scholarships.
Excellent. Denison University.
We are test optional for the foreseeable future and have been for at least 10 years. So no changes coming for us.
Kenyon College.
We have a temporary test optional policy for this year for high school students graduating in the class of 2021.
Okay. Miami University.
we are test optional for fall of 2021. No word on fall of 2022 yet.
Ohio Wesleyan.
We are test optional and will be for the foreseeable future because we were before this.
Understood. And Xavier.
We are test optional for the foreseeable future. The only program that possibly will go to having test requirements will be nursing.
Understood. Well, thank you for sharing the extra information about each of your schools and the fun stuff and the testing information. And I want to thank you for obviously presenting tonight. And I want to thank all of our attendees for joining us for this session. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions hosted tonight and tomorrow, so be sure to sign up for additional ones at strivescan.com/collegewise. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings. Again, same website, strivescan.com/collegewise. Once more, thank you once again to the representatives from our 6 schools presenting tonight. Thank you for doing that and joining us. And thank you all for being a part of this. Have a great rest of your evening.